Welcome to Hotline TV, everyone. I'm Sean Miller.
And I'm Quinn McCord. Well, let's start off the show with a massive understatement. It was a busy weekend for Sarah Palin. Sean, you're our expert on all things Alaska, Palin. Give us the overview. Why did she leave? Why did she not run for re-election? But she's leaving in less than a month. What are people saying out there?
Well, she said, obviously, everyone's heard this obviously at this point, but she, didn't want to be a lame duck. She decided she's not going to run for re-election, and she's going to take a course less traveled, and she's going to free herself up, take that burden off her shoulders, and get out there.
A lot of the coverage seems focusing on the negative, like this is quirky. It shows she's a quitter, or she's backing off, or maybe either he's in a new scandal. But has anyone said anything positive? I mean, is there any way that this is actually a smart decision?
Well, actually, Charlie Cook has said that this is a smart decision based on the length of presidential campaigns, how long the GOP primary is going to be in 2012, and also the traveling distance. I mean, Alaska's an isolated state; it's far away. It's a lot of travel time, and also one of the things people pointed out is her ethics violations. There's been a lot of complaints that she's made lapses in ethical judgment, and that has really revolved around some of the trips she's taken overseas, or not overseas, but to the lower 48, and whether or not she's taken her family with her and things of that nature. So this frees her up, from that sort of criticism.
Well, I guess that's true. I think she was probably just tired and worn down. I mean, all these ethics complaints, but also, if you are going to run for president, does she really want to spend the next 2 years governing Alaska, running for re-election, getting all these shots both from national media and from the state media at the same time, and then a month after re-election? Nowadays you can't wait a few months. As soon as you're re-elected in a midterm, you guys are running for president, and I think you can't nonstop campaign for, at that point it would be what, 4 or 5 years.
Right.
So I think she was worn down. But 2012 is a great year. We're very excited about it. But it's not coming up as quickly as 2010.
No, 2010 is before 2012.
Yes, we are math experts here. Of course, here at the Hotline, we're always looking ahead of the next election. So as great as this Palin story is, her departure makes the Alaska governor's race one of the ones to watch in 2010. Sean, what do we need to know about in Alaska about this 2010 governor's race?
Well, there's a lot of talk of what Lieutenant Governor Sean Parnell, who has been appointed, or will be appointed, the new governor, will rise, elevate to the governorship in a matter of weeks. Everyone's sort of waiting to see how he will do. he ran against Don Young in the 2008 GOP primary for the at-large Alaska House seat.
Barely lost.
And so a lot of people fault him for not having campaigned as hard as he could have against a weakened Don Young in that campaign. So people are sort of waiting to see how he fits into the governor's office. And the GOP field is essentially frozen in a lot of ways, because up until now there had been a lot of pending announcements, and now some of the folks who had said that they were going to run are now sort of backing away from that. One of the 06 candidates who mentioned that they would run is also backing away from that. I'm shuffling my papers here.
Well, it makes it look very good.
So
that's all we do here is shuffle papers.
You shuffle papers around. Essentially, Sean Parnell is now the front runner for the 2010 nomination. It doesn't take it doesn't give the Dems a better shot.
No, and I think, you talked about the Don Young race last year, and I have to say I think it may have helped him in the net, because one, he got more statewide name ID than he would have just as a sitting lieutenant governor. No one really knows lieutenant governor. And yes, he didn't run the best campaign, but it's good practice. At least he has practice running a real statewide campaign, which is more than some of these other people can say. And he didn't hurt himself so badly that it's a net negative. So I think that losing Don Young campaign might have helped him, arguably. And of course, the big thing, his real benefit is the fact, there's no runoff in Alaska.
Right.
If he has, 6 or how many people running against him, he can squeak through the nomination with, 30, 35, 40%, But being a small state, it could allow some of these characters to sort of come up from obscurity. Frank Murkowski, he was the sitting governor. He only got 19% in his primary.
That's right, yeah.
Just because he has the office doesn't necessarily mean he's, assured of coming in on top, even with a large field. But I think the interesting thing will be to see if the field really narrows to only 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Or if it's just sort of, everyone clear the decks, everyone's running. So.
Right. I think the next year will tell whether or not his performance is strong enough to scare some challengers away and really just give him a free ride.
And it's a tough state for Democrats, but you never know. Stranger things have happened.
Such as the resignation of Sarah Palin.
Yes, exactly. Oh, so much fun. Alaska, Palin. We'll never get tired talking of these topics. But unfortunately for now, we are out of time here on Hotline TV. Say goodbye, Sean.
Goodbye, Quinn.
Goodbye, Quinn and Sean. See you next time.